Welcome to the Soul Flow podcast with Steph, Aisha, and Josie. We are spiritual life coaches. Join us in our flow as we share our journey towards our soul's purpose while co-creating a conscious community and raising your vibration. Get ready to meet your highest self and discover your true, unique power. Let's dive right in. All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are here today at the Soulful Podcast with my co-hosts, Steph and Josie. And I am Aisha. And today we are discussing one of the most sought after topic in our spiritual and self-development communities, feminine and masculine energies. How do you ladies feel about that? Go on, Steph.
Such a juicy topic. I've been waiting for this episode since day one. Literally, this is my whole journey of overcoming burnout and being so rooted in my masculine and operating from my masculine energy for so many years, thinking that I needed to be in control. I needed to be in the doing. The more that I do, the more I'm going to receive, the quicker I'm going to get to my goals. Little did I know that actually taking breaks, sitting in the pause, the sacred pause, slowing down, trusting, surrendering
There's so much goodness here.
is actually it's actually working in my favor. Like I'm actually receiving more. I feel more joy, more light, more love, more I'm loving, embracing. I'm loving this season of my life where I could say I am embracing my divine feminine and she is shining, baby, shining.
We can tell, Steph. You said it so well. I couldn't have said it better myself. And I resonate with everything that you just said. I agree. Trying to find that balance between masculine and feminine because you need both, right? You need both. And yeah, I'm excited to dive more in and talk about ways to step into your femininity. I know Aisha is the divine feminine here, as we all are. And she has some just really great tools to step into it right away and bring it out and up. It's something that I continuously have to work on, but I'm very excited to talk about this as well.
I just want to take a moment to look at you both right now, like wearing white. You guys are giving this like rebirthed energy. Like you guys, you ladies are rebirthed in your divine feminine. What a beautiful journey to
But this
be
wasn't even planned. We didn't even plan.
Oh. I feel so blessed to just sit here and witness this in what's happening in your journeys and in so many women's lives, right? In so many of us, we are burnt out. We live in a masculine world, so we take on more of that masculine mask. And it is a mask because that's not our natural state. Now, not to say that we don't have masculine energy either, right? We all have both. And this podcast, and especially today's episode, is for anybody who wants to tap a little bit more into their feminine energy and to incorporate their healthy masculine energy as well. Because again, we have a both. And when we balance the both in us, then we have this harmony within ourselves. And this flow happens, this dance between the feminine and masculine energies. And they both they both help each other. Like people think it's like this like differentiation when really the feminine and masculine energies, it's a divine union. It is a divine union within us all.
Yes, Aisha, I love how you said balancing both the masculine and feminine, because where Steph and I, we are trying to tap more into the feminine, part of us. I've heard you say you're trying to step into the more masculine side of it, and we'll talk about that too, which I think is very important. Yeah, good point. Great point.
Yeah, and stepping into your feminine energy doesn't mean you get to abandon the masculine energy.
Absolutely.
You get to dance between both, and when both can coexist, so much beauty
Mm.
exists. So much beauty can happen from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. I want to know where your masculinity came from. Like tell us the
Mm.
story. Tell us how you got there and how you became aware of it.
Okay, so well, to begin with, right, I've always had a lot of feminine energy. Now, what is a feminine energy? Feminine energy is receptive energy, right? It's if you just look out in nature, we have these aspects and these archetypes in nature. It's how like two different energies are meant to come together to co-create and create life, right? So people think that just that a woman that has the gender of female has feminine energy and a man in masculine energy with that gender, but it's really more multidimensional than that, and there's layers to it, and we can enhance, and like we talked about the archetypes, like bring out different aspects of that within ourselves. But to tell you about myself and to guide you to look within yourself to find your natural energy, I would suggest to look back at your childhood. When I look at my childhood, oh my God, you guys, I was the girliest girl on this planet, okay? I'm talking doll houses, like 30 Barbie dolls, all the Barbie movies, everything pink, and just so much feminine energy. And I wanted to wear my mom's makeup and her shoes, and like it was hilarious. And I was such a princess, such a daddy's girl, all the things, right? But I grew up very confused with that because this world is very masculine. And so I took that on with like, competing with there is that natural competitive energy in me, which is my masculine energy, but trying to like become something that's not me. Because I can't, as much as I love my masculine energy and integrating it this year, I can't deny and lie and say that I'm not feminine though. And I think I tried doing that growing up. And I think a lot of women do that, and they put on this masculine mask and eventually end up in burnout, right? Which is so unfortunate. And I think as much as I love feminism and I believe in equal rights, I think there's a part of feminism that's kind of bit women it's kind of backfired because women aren't meant to work as a man. We are two different creatures who have different cycles and different ways of being, and we do not have the same even hormonal cycles as the men, right? So we're not meant to function in this 9 to 5 very masculine oriented work life. And I think it causes a lot of women burnout, and especially here in the US I see it more than anywhere else cuz I grew up in Pakistan. I've traveled a lot, so I see that in different countries there's women more in their feminine energy actually. And in US particularly, women are like just they're raised to not be in their own natural energy. Like how depleting is that to just be raised that way, you know?
Yeah. One thing that you mentioned before too, Aisha, is when you were a child growing up, you were very emotional and you had strong emotions.
Yeah.
And you were kind of looked differently in a way because you're like, why do I have all these feelings? And like almost you tried to hide it. And
Mhm.
so what would you say to the audience when they do have really strong emotions and how to kind of balance that out and move past that?
See, that's where our masculine energies come in to integrate, to ground us, and to help us regulate our emotions, right? It's taking all this flow energy and like bringing it into like a space. So, okay, I'm going to take 5, 10 minutes, half an hour, a retreat, whatever it takes to give myself that space to be held and to express my emotions. And then maybe that's how it's introduced to you, and then start bringing it more into a daily practice. When we start practicing and emotionally regulating daily, our emotions become our superpowers. Like, I'm sorry, that is a superpower. If you have intuition, and which we all do, intuition, emotions that are heightened, that's a superpower, honey. And that, when all that energy can be contained in a space and allowed to be processed, right? The ocean can be as calm and still, and then have storms, right? It's that flowy energy needs to just be what it is and then have a safe space for it to be expressed. So learning emotional regulation was something that really helped, and that happened with my masculine energy integrating, and me being able to be here and guide women to develop their femininity is me being in my masculine energy. And so again, we need both. It's a play of both for sure, Josie. And
Mhm.
I see different levels of it in everyone. Like Steph, I love your beautiful, beautiful mix of masculine and feminine energies, because both of them feel almost equally as strong to me.
Yeah, it's definitely embracing this, the divine feminine from within has been, it felt really uncomfortable at first.
Mm.
I knew that it was something that I needed to, or that I got, it was something that I wanted to work on. I was going through seasons of exhaustion and feeling like, motivated and then unmotivated, going through cycles of, doing all the things, and then going through seasons where I don't want to do anything because I feel so exhausted and so depleted and worn out. And I knew that I needed to make a change. I was like, I cannot continue, and nor did I want to continue operating from this energetic space. And I guess with losing my mom early on, and my dad, being present, but also, he taught me as much as he could, and I felt like I grew up very quickly. I had to kind of learn things on my own, and being so independent, I felt like I needed to just, learn survival skills, how to, make money and get by and take care of myself, and also that came with wanting to take care of other people around me, and just and being so caught up in the doing of things. What else do I need to do? What other course do I need to sign up for? I need to keep growing. I always had to be doing something. And it started to feel not right in my body after going through all these cycles of, it was almost like a roller coaster ride, right? You're going up and then you're dropping and then you're going up again and then you're dropping. And I was noticing these cycles in my life, and I was like, yeah, I need to take a different approach. And then this is when I started learning about different energies, learning about the feminine energy. And I was like, oh yeah, she's been gone for so many years. She's been
And unfortunately, I think there's a lot of women who could relate to you listening to this right now.
yeah, she's been
Yeah,
gone.
Steph, did you have specific like health issues that were showing up?
Oh yeah, and then it manifested into eczema. I had skin issues. My hair was falling out at one point. I just looked swollen and inflamed. I developed gut issues. My hormones were just all over the place. I took tests that determined where my hormones were at. I had no testosterone. Yeah, that's a good point, Josie. It affected my health in so many ways. I lost my sex drive at one point, and
Big
my
one.
my zest for life. There was when I went through my bodybuilding journey, I was like, I felt like a vegetable, like I actually didn't own a TV before that journey. And I decided to buy a TV because I didn't want to go out and socialize. I'm like, I'm just gonna stay home.
Wow.
So yeah, and living, I mean, our society, right? Our society teaches us, like, we get praise for our hitting numbers, for our performance, for like getting raises at jobs. It's like, it's based on performance. And so I could see how it could be so easy for women or just people in general to come from that place of like, okay, I gotta perform, I gotta show up, I gotta hit these numbers. And so I mean, for a long time I got sucked into that culture. I got sucked into that culture of that hustle culture, do more, no rest days.
Mm.
And yeah, it was exhausting. And I was like, you know what, no more. And now that I am actually slowing down, I feel the most aliveness. I feel like I'm fully like alive in my body. I feel like, I don't drink coffee, I don't take stimulants. The energy, like everybody always asks me like, Steph, you have so much energy all the time, like how do you keep this consistent? And really it's natural energy, because I do feel genuinely, I feel healthy in my body, and not just like my physical body, but I feel like mentally, emotionally, spiritually, I feel the most connected with myself. I feel like I'm thriving and not just surviving. I feel like I'm honestly at my prime right now, and I'm not doing as half of as much as I was doing before. I've actually slowed down a lot. I've taken more breaks. I've just came back from a trip from Hawaii, and I feel like things are just falling into place without forcing, without feeling like I have to do so much. So it's kind of like a opposite way of what I'm yeah, opposite way of thinking than what I was used to.
What
Yeah,
you
for people
require.
out there, um, because there are a lot of feminines out there, women out there that are working, achieving, type A personality, perfectionist. What would you tell them that helps you, that they can do? What practices, what tools, what advice can you give them so they can take that sacred pause, as you always mention, and get back to themselves and tap into their feminism?
Mhm. Yeah, there's definitely different practices that you can do. What worked for me is yeah, I have to tell this story because before I was anti yoga, I hated yoga. I tried yoga so many times. And the only reason why I got into it was because my coach put it on my plan, and I'm good at following directions. She's like, I want you to do yoga at least 2 times a week. And it was so funny because the yoga classes that I would choose was still like the power yoga or like vinyasa, where you're it's very it's not like the yin yoga, like the relaxing yoga. It
Oh,
was
yin
like
yoga is my favorite. Yin yoga is the best.
and I'm like, "Okay," but she's like, "You need to slow down, like, you're right?" Like, she took weightlifting off of my plan, and I'm like, "It
Girl.
somebody to my coach to tell me that." So, I've embraced yoga, I've embraced yin yoga, and just the way that I feel after doing yoga, actually, I feel a sense of, calm and peace, and it grounds me, it brings me back to center. It calms my central nervous system. So, yoga, I've gone into deep breathing, meditation, tapping as well. And oh, I love being out in nature. So, getting out in nature, being by the water, being in nature. And when I do take walks, I don't listen to music, I don't listen to anything. I actually just listen to nature, like the birds and the wind, and that automatically puts me in a very calm, centered place. Oh, and I've taken my self-care game to a whole new level in terms of like my skincare routine. Um,
I love to hear this right now.
yes, skincare, getting massages, treating myself
As
out.
you should, sis.
Yes,
As you should.
yes. So I encourage you all to find a routine that works for you and try different things, and you can cycle through different activities, but definitely at least try, some one of these activities at least once. So yoga, meditation, deep breathing, and we can link some go to like meditations in the show notes later.
Mhm.
And so tapping that has allowed me, I feel like that taps into my subconscious.
Yep,
That's where
it's
like,
levels to it. I
right?
before you continue some more stuff, and because I wanted to share some modalities too, I wanted to ask Josie about her journey with
Yeah,
her energies. And
because we have the same journey, Josie.
yeah, you guys have you
Similar.
guys have on similar paths, and I would love for you to share with us, Josie, and our listeners.
Yeah, so my story kind of starts with just seeing my mom working two jobs, right? She's a hard worker, trying to, not trying, taking care of three kids on her own. And so that's what I saw. And that's what I'm naturally drawn to is just work, work, work. And I'll tell people this all the time. I actually love that about me. I love my work ethic. I embrace it. And the reason why I embrace it is because I am naturally very calm. In one of our episodes, we talk about Dharma archetypes, and mine is the nurturer, like very calm, easygoing. And I think for me, if I don't work, it's very easy for me to like just sit on the couch and like binge watch TV and be in my lazy, I guess you can say, lazy stage. So for me it's a good
Balance.
balance. It is a good balance. But with that being said, I do know that I do want to tap into my femininity more, and embrace it more. And as Aisha always promotes, taking baths, like taking more baths and being in nature, um, especially this year, because I did get burnout, just like Steph mentioned. I got really burnt out. I got anxiety. I hated my job. It affected everything around me, my mental state, my kids, my husband. And so when that burnout came, I had to take a step back and assess my life and thinking about where I was going, which led me to Dharma Coaching Institute, where I met
Mm.
amazing ladies. And, they talk about feminism and masculine energies. And, just learning more about that, I knew I was missing something, and just bringing it in kind of makes me feel whole.
Mm.
I have that inner peace in a way. So, yeah, even though I love that side of me, I do know it's a balance, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. When we're doing too much, we naturally need to go in a state of rest. And the feminine definitely lies within slowing down, right? Why do we feel so good when we go into nature and its healing energy? Because look at the seasons. Nature takes its time to go its course of all four seasons. And the world could be going pandemics could be happening, this wars could be happening, but the earth takes its time in its seasons. And I think that's very healing. And I think women, we have a major healing energy to us, similar to nature. And we can really tap into that as a superpower if we notice that that actually resides within us too. And we can put, the entire world off our shoulders for an evening and take a bath or go for a walk or make ourselves feel really good when we do skincare or I don't know, like a creative energy. I feel like it's a another very feminine aspect,
Mhm.
right? When we create, we get into this like playful energy and it naturally like puts a smile on your face. And women also create life, so creative energy, and God created everything, so it all ties in, again, superpowers, like major superpowers there. And superpowers in masculine energy as well, though. Because, yes, like it is a masculine world and we have big visions, we got projects, we got things to do, we got messages to share. And to do that, we need to be authentic and show up and have some sort of like some people a lot of people have a negative connotation with the word discipline, so I like the word devotion. Sahara mentions this too, you know, like we are devoted to our purpose and having purpose. The dharma, I believe, is a masculine energy as well, where you're feeling like you're here to do something that's bigger than yourself, that's like connects you with all of humanity and God. And if you know, we're all here to walk each other home. We're
Mhm.
all here to give and receive, and that giving energy is the masculine and the receiving is the feminine. And when we do one of each, the other, like the energies get stuck, and you're not gonna feel good. You know, when we give too much, we know damn well how shitty that feels. That can get so that burns us out so much. And then and even receiving, like if you're just receiving, that can start feeling icky after a while. That like, no, actually, I want to give back to this. This doesn't seem fair.
Mhm.
You know, others deserve to receive as well. Seeing, and I think being in your healthy feminine and masculine energy allows you to show up in healthy ways for others. Like I can be fully in my authentic feminine energy and see the beauty within Steph and Josie and other women. Like I hate that, hate is a strong word, but it's very unfortunate that in our societies today, the women are pit against each other. And what's really unfortunate is that women, when they come together, their energies are super healing. And so, if we can show up for each other and love on each other and show that, oh, I can hold space for you, sis, and I can see the beauty in you, and that not take away from mine, like, oh, that changes our lives. And there's so much power in that, and it's not taught to us. I feel like that's kind of taken away from us, and that is a big mission of mine to be here on this podcast to share this message so women feel seen and heard and loved, and they feel like they're part of a sisterhood because sisterhood is so healing.
Have you
Yeah.
noticed, for each one of you ladies, I know Josie, you stepping more into your feminine, and Aisha, you stepping more into your masculine. What's the biggest difference that you've noticed since you have been able to step into the other side?
Oh, this is such a good question. I want everyone to answer. For me, I think it's in my confidence. I think when I tapped into my solar plexus and that light of like like I feel like I was really lacking that, and you know, my wounded feminine was feeling this lack of self-worth, and then that was showing up in my masculine as well, of not feeling good enough and confident, and having burnt out before by putting on this mask, right? The masculine mask. My masculine energy didn't really want to even come out again because it felt like a failure, because it's failed before. It's burnt out before from doing something that I thought I wanted to do, but then I changed my path from being a doctor to, you know, a more natural healer and a feminine coach. But I think a big masculine wound is failure. And I think this is like, oh, this feels like a lot to even be here. It feels very vulnerable to share that, but I did. I felt that, and it really hindered my masculine energy to come up again. And it's taken all the work it's in me, feels like, this year to tell my masculine energy that I'm not a failure, and that it's okay if I fell down and I can get back up and steer myself in another direction, right? It's masculine energy is very directional, and I just needed that little bit of that guidance for my feminine energy to flow through. And now I feel very balanced. And I feel like the more I read this really beautiful thing, the more you create that balance, that bridge becomes stronger. And so the more I'm practicing this on a daily basis, um, that bridge between my energies feels stronger and stronger, stronger for me to walk on, and for my sisters, for my family, for my friends, and hopefully one day my family, right? My husband and my kids. Like I want to be able to have that strength within me too. And I do have it. I just haven't let myself practice it up until now. So yeah, it feels really good actually, and it feels better than I thought it would.
Mhm.
But
I
it takes
love it.
work. it takes work, you know? I think when we are too much in the feminine energy, you can get in a place where you just want to rest, and that can turn into like depression. You know, too much kapha energy, which
Mm.
is the rest state, can turn into depression. And so I faced that depression, and to the point where I was like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to work out. I want to have movement practices. I want to have daily like intention setting. What is my intention for today? What do I have this, morning and night,
Mm.
guided journal. I love it. I'm literally obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with it because every day I have a direction. So the day just doesn't just grab me, by my feet and take me wherever it wants to. Because that's what happens when you have too much flow. And I definitely have a lot of flow. So it feels good to like be like, no, I can be in charge this way. And yeah, that feels good. That feels
Aisha, you said the morning and evening journal, and I've never seen a morning and an evening journal before, but I just revised my journal because it was all like on one page to do morning and evening to create that ritual for yourself and to show up for yourself. So you saying that like kind of blows my mind right now since I'm like that just came intuitively. Um
wow.
yeah. So anyways, sorry. To to answer your question, Steph, I now know, like I wasn't very clear, but it's honestly connecting with my soul. I am so in my head
Mhm.
about everything. And as Aisha said, it takes work. I've
Mhm.
had to meditate day and night and journal day and night to really connect with my soul. Um, with my intuition because I always told myself I don't have intuition. I can't meditate. I can't do this. I can't do that. Doing all these things, like you said, Steph, but not getting anywhere, not being fulfilled.
Mm.
And the biggest difference is connecting to my soul. And no matter what happens, I know I'm on the right path. And nobody can tell me different because it's coming from the soul. So I would love for
Um,
you to answer that question too.
I
Both
love how you didn't know what to say because your intuition knew that you needed to hear what I had to say. And then I said the journal thing, and then it came to you. Your
Yeah.
intuition is literally in practice right now.
Ah, I love that. I love how you see things so clearly.
both
And
of
and
both of your answers gave me chills.
I got chills too right
Both of your responses, I'm like, "Oh." I got lost in it all.
now.
Oh, for me, I've learned to give myself more grace and compassion and love, unconditional love, I should say, because it was almost like I was giving myself conditional love. And I feel more connected in my body. I feel like I am operating more from the neck down than the neck up. And I feel my heart really leading myself, leading the decisions that I make, guiding people to lead with love. I feel a different connection with people as well, and that's probably because I have a different connection with myself. I feel like my connections are deeper.
Mm.
I feel like I'm able to give other people more compassion, more grace, and I understand people more because I'm now able to give that to myself. And honestly, too, I feel like my creative juices are flowing better because I am resting. I am sitting in the pause that I'm allowing myself to just get the downloads and the hits and the ideas are just coming. I'm able to flow. I'm able to flow more and not be so in this structure, routine, rigid way of doing things. And honestly, because I'm allowing myself to flow more, I have more joy, I have more happiness, I feel more alive, I feel like I have more energy because I'm now able to focus on the things that I should be focusing on. And yeah, I feel like being in my feminine energy just has enhanced my relationship with me and with others, and it's beautiful.
Mic
Yes.
drop, mic
Yeah.
drop.
That made me realize too, Steph, is when you're constantly fighting for something, pushing for something, there's resistance that comes with that. And
Mhm.
there's a reason why there's resistance because you need to learn something. You need to learn a new way of just being.
Mhm.
And the reason you get more time in that is because it flows naturally to you rather than pushing for answers, pushing to take control of the situation. When in reality, if you just let it be, it will come to you. And that's how you get more time and ease. So I love how you said that. I love how you said that.
I
'Cause it
definitely have more calm and peace in my life too. Like peace, like I before I felt like things were a little bit more chaotic, and now I feel more grounded, more at ease, and surrendering has been one of the most beautiful things that I've embraced is like trusting and surrendering to to God. He's my higher power and trusting him, right? And not letting go of control has been a game changer.
Amen, sister. Seriously, I
one
agree.
of my favorite episodes we've recorded so far.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
there's
Well, and
energy now.
I feel like so many people can relate to,
Mhm.
you know, yeah, I hear it every day too. Like a lot of women that and maybe they may not know that they're experiencing burnout, but the signs are there, the symptoms are there. And it's just I feel like it's my duty really to be able to educate and to bring this to awareness. And I feel
Karma.
yeah, similar with you ladies, right? Wanting to bring this to the conscious awareness of right of many really because I didn't know I was experiencing burnout. I didn't know until like I learned more about what burnout was, and I was like, oh yeah, I've been experiencing that for a very long time.
I love that you mentioned peace stuff. Like, just look at the collective right now. Like, what's happening in the world? Like, it's so important that we do this work to harmonize the energies within ourselves, that we know what they are, their light, the shadow, how to bring a balance and harmony to them so we create peace within ourselves. And when one person creates peace, they bring peace to their environment, to their friends, to their family, and then those people bring peace to others. And piece by piece, we create peace. I've been praying on this. I'm not even kidding for the past all of October and November. And that's the message I received from God is piece by piece, we'll create harmony and peace in the world again. Mm.
Yes. Yes.
Such a great closing for everyone to take away from. That's for sure, Aisha. I love that.
Yeah. Any last words that you would like to offer to our listeners, Miss Divine Feminine Coach?
I I love you guys so much and love yourself. It all begins with yourself. Just love yourself wherever you are in your journey and take it
Yeah.
one step at a time. Just one step.
Yeah.
Give yourself grace in the process too. It doesn't happen overnight. It didn't happen overnight for anyone, for either of us, right? And so be patient, give yourself grace and just
Love.
and flow and just know that as long as you stick to your journey and you stay committed to you, you'll find that perfect balance.
And with that, also celebrate yourself, celebrate all wins, no matter how small they are, because a lot of us um, we don't look at our wins, we don't pat ourselves in the back, and we don't give ourselves enough grace. So definitely give yourself all the love, like you ladies said.
Absolutely. The self-development journey, like many other traps, continues and continues. And it's so good to take a pause and notice all the progress we've made just looking at you two. And even myself, I'm like, just seeing our energies from like our first meetings to now. I see so much balance, so much harmony. And even though I love Kelly and Raquel so much and I miss them, but they have their own journey to create where they feel more balanced. And so they had to take that path. We never know what's going to happen in life, but
You'll start a journey or many journeys with certain people, and they may either stay on this path with you or they may choose to take a left turn, and
it's
that's okay. Not to say that, hey, maybe our paths will come together at a different time and maybe not, but it's not a bad thing. None of this is bad. It just means that there's something else that's awaiting them and for us too.
mm,
We're meant to evolve in different ways, and it's all beautiful.
it is.
Yes, it is.
And with that, we will close this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed and allow yourselves to flow with your souls as we do here on Soul Flow. Until next time, you can catch us on Instagram right here. If you are viewing, you can see our handles. They will be in the information. Flow with Aisha, The Divine Self by Josie, and Soul Glow Coaching with Steph. Until next time, see
Find what makes your
Bye.
soul flow. Bye.
So flow, so flow, so flow, so flow, so flow.